All right, what's up, everyone? This is Wakeman, and today I have a very exciting video to bring to you. I'm doing a team analysis for my team for the Great Lakes Draft League Season 3. We have a new updated logo for both the Great Lakes Aces, my team, on the right, and then the league also. Credit to Tushy Cat for that. Um, but yeah, this is my first like real full season Gen 9 league. I did that quick off season event, missed playoffs for that. Wasn't able to put that much time into it, being a showdown league and everything. I didn't, you know, it took it less seriously. But this one I'm going to be really grinding for. Um, so I just wanted to go over my team, kind of give some insight into my thought process here. This is this is a different team than well, it's very similar to a lot of teams I've drafted, but it's also my approach to drafting it was very different, and so I wanna talk about that as well. So first off, we'll talk about the draft format. So this is a VGC league, so it's just the normal rule set, but we are including all Paradox Mons, Ruin Quartet, Cinderace, and Charizard. So all those are legal. It's a tier list, and then we're at 11. We were required to take 11 picks, five of which were excuse me, were required slots of a tier one, two tier twos, two tier threes, and a tier four. And the last five slots were all drafted with 300 points, and you can see the point values there. It was a snake draft, which means it goes 1 to 12, and then it snakes back 12 to 1. So generally, you like to be on the wheel, or close to the end or beginning for that. I got fifth out of 12, which wasn't ideal. Um, the draft started Sunday night and we finished Tuesday night. This division moved really fast and we didn't even need to start the timer, which is awesome. But yeah, I'm just gonna walk you through the order in which I drafted things and just kind of explain some of my thoughts and synergies on my team. So first up, I took Great Tusk, and in my opinion, Great Tusk is the best ground type in the format. I think it's better than Garchomp. I think it's better than Iron Treads. I don't know what it's better than Tinglu. I don't know what other ground types there are, but it's better than them. I think this mod is just insane. Ground fighting makes it a unique typing. It's an insane offensive typing. Um, you get walled by flying, and I mean you hit pretty much everything else. I took this as a tier one. Its ability is Protosynthesis, which, if you don't know, is the past Paradoxmon's signature ability. They get either a Choice Scarf or a 1.5 times boost to their speed, or if it's any other stat, it's a 1.3 times boost to their highest stat. So if his highest stat is speed, which I don't think Great Tusk can ever pull off, um, then it gets a 1.5 times boost. But if I ever run booster energy on this thing, more than likely it's getting an attack or defense boost of 1.3 times. Um, as you can see, its stats are nuts. A lot of people are thinking it just drops to a special breeze, but I really disagree. 115 HP and 53 SPDF is fine. Like that's average. I think that probably levels out to about average special bulk for a Pokemon. So I'm really not worried about it on that end. And then obviously physically it's just unkillable. 115, 131, like what? Um, so I think this Mon is an insane offensive build around. I think it gets a dual base 120 stab combo of close combat and headlong rush, which is literally just close combat but ground type. Um, and then it has very good bulk. Assault Vest is a really good item on it because its special bulk is lower. Um, but I mean, just look at the coverage. Like close combat, body press, which is actually very good on this Mon. Earthquake, headlong rush for its ground stabs, and then it gets head smash to hit flying types, heavy slam to hit fairies and Iron Head, play rough knockoff, mega horn, Zen headbutt, elemental fangs. It also gets rock slide. I didn't put that on here. Um, it just gets like all the moves it needs, and they're like all high base power. Like knockoff is like 107 or something. Megahorn's 120. Close combat and headlong rush are 120. Head smash is 150. Heavy Slam is often 120 because this thing's heavy as shit. And then its support slash like status move pool is pretty limited. Bulk up, taunt, sunny day. Um, Not really like the best there, but it's not terrible. Taunt I think is a useful move on this one in particular. But yeah, so to pair with Great Tusk, I took Kilowattrel on my second pick. I took it as a tier two. Um, as you can see, it has a really, really good speed tier, and three very usable abilities: Wind Power, Volt Absorb, and Competitive. All very good. I'm thinking that Competitive will be the one I use the most on this team, but it's a very fast Tailwind setter, but it also provides Intimidate deterrent for both for Great Tusk and my next pick, as well as providing Tailwind and being arguably the best electric Disquake partner available because just supports it supports the physical ground types insanely well. Um, its move pool is pretty shallow, as you can see. It pretty much gets electric moves, flying moves, and weather ball. And kind of same for its status moves. It's pretty limited, but I mean, you're probably just running discharge, T-bolt, air slash, tailwind on this thing with a sash or something. But Eerie Impulse is nice. Volt Switch is nice. You can run choice sets on it. Um, yeah, I think this is like basically the perfect pairing for Great Tusk because you can Disquake. Um, if you lead these two, this provides Tailwind for it, which base 87 speed tier kind of needs Tailwind. Um, and then you also just like I don't know what survives a Disquake plus Earthquake from this combo. Like it's just so strong. I'm really excited to use this, and then just having Intimidate Deterrent too is just so good. So then next up, nobody will be surprised. I drafted Cinderace. Um, so I took this one as a tier one, but in a free slot, so it took up 100 of my free points. This Mon got nerfed. It lost, or Libero now only activates once per entry into the battle. So if you change types once, you are stuck on that type until you switch out. If you come back in, I think you go back to a fire type and then you can switch again. Um, However, it's still a very good offensive unit. This makes choice sets way better. Um, you can see the stats here. I don't know if you need to see those, but um, it makes choice sets just infinitely better because you can't switch anyway. So why not just throw a scarf or a band on it? Um, but this also gives it a very real reason to run both abilities. Like I could see a support sash set with Pyro Ball and Blaze being good, um, as well as just like it just gets a good support move pool in general. Swords Dance as well. Court Change is awesome. Will-O-Wisp, Sunny Day for Great Tusk, Helping Hand, Taunt, good stuff in general. Plus like stuff like Snarl and Feint, as well as its usual, all of its good coverage moves. I'm really excited to use this mon. I think it's gonna probably be a little less powerful, but I think that the creativity that the nerf opens up is actually really really cool, and I'm really excited to use it. So next up, we have Gardevoir. So this one is another tier 2. And I took this one because I wanted a special attacker. I mean, I had Kilowattrel, but Kilowattrel is base 105, so I wanted something a little stronger. But I also wanted the support move pool that Gardevoir has. Um, Not only does it have telepathy, so it's really cool um, next to EQ Great Tusk or Discharge Kilowattrel, for example. Um, it also just like it has good damage output, but it's also a very good imprison or like TR reverser. Um, because the one thing my team lacks is like priority speed control, and so it's really nice that like when I go up against the Murkrow team or the Talonflame team, I think both of those got taken in my division. Um, I can just turn one Trick Room and it's just easy. Um, but well, relatively easy, I should say. As you can see, very, very deep move pool. All the coverage it could want, plus Icy Wind and Knockoff. And then Imprison Trick Room, which is the main thing I took it for, but also Hypnosis, Charm, Taunt, Thunderwave, Will-O-Wisp, Sunny Day, Heal Pulse, Screens, Helping Hand. Just like everything you could want, this mon has in terms of like a good support move pool. Plus, Synchronize and Trace are like weirdly good as well. Um, but yeah, I'm super excited to use this mon. I think it's going to be really good on this comp. Having a good Imprison user is just so nice. So the next time I took Persian, this was a tier 3. This got some pretty massive buffs going into this gen. It got Snarl and Fake Tears and Chilling Water, which probably don't run that much, but it is an interesting option. Um, but it gets Unnerve and Technician, which are probably the two that you run the most. Um, but I mean, again, this isn't a new mon. It's the third fastest available fake out behind Salazzle, which is base 117, and Weavile, which is 125. So only two teams are going to have faster uh, fake out users than me. I think both of those got taken. Um, it's just a good fast support option, good chip damage while doing it with Snarl and Icy Wind. Um, good speed tier. I needed a fake out user, but I was kind of realizing I might only have room for one, and so I wanted to make it like a really good dedicated fake out user. I didn't want it to be like, oh, I'm base 70, but I also have fake out, because I found those aren't very consistent, and so I really wanted to have a good fake out user. Um, but yeah, another fast mon that just clicks support moves and fake out. Um, yeah, I'm again not a super complicated mon. So then next up I took Vaporeon. I was gonna take Clawitzer, but Depiz sniped me. Um, so at first glance it seems like a little out of place with all of the super fast, frail offense stuff that's going on, but like it just provides a super good like defensive backbone to what I already took. Um, it's also not weak. Like base 110 special attack is good. Um, with like stab hydro pump or ice beam or muddy stab it's also a special attacker that doesn't rely on hydro pump because it has muddy water. It's also not a bad user of chilling water. But yeah, I mean it's just super good. It just like it gives me the option of like blitzing out my opponent, killing their Vaporeon checks, and then just bringing it in, clicking Acid Armor or Calm Mind and winning. So it's super good there. Um, and then, it gets good support moves: Haze, Wish, Yawn, Charm, Helping Hand, Acid Armor, like I said. So it can set up. But yeah, it's just really cool. And like I'm actually really excited to use it, even though it doesn't really seem like my type of mon exactly. I think it's going to fit this team really well. So next up, I have Haunter. And this is another one I've drafted a couple times before. I took this in a tier 4 slot. Um, So as you can see, the stats it fits the trend of this team. Kind of frail, very frail actually, but strong and relatively fast. This is a great value in tier 4. I can do stuff next to Great Tusk with EQ because it has Levitate. Um, but then again, like it has good coverage and it hits hard and has good status moves like mainly Imprison Trick Room, which Gardevoir probably does more, but Will-O-Wisp, Trick, Haze, Encore, just good options overall. And then on top of that, I just am able to I'm able to just like bring it in. It'll kill one thing, and I sack it. And I think that's actually really valuable. Like mons that like guarantee one for one trades. I know it seems less than ideal. But when you have a hyper offensive team and like you prefer to play fast like I do, like it's almost sometimes a good thing because like you can put a sash on this thing, it can take out something with a sludge bomb or a shadow ball because again this mon is pretty strong, and then you get taken down to sash, you set Sunny Day for Great Tusk, and then you die. And then you bring Great Tusk in, and everything is like set up perfectly. Or you Icy Wind, get down to Sash, set up Sunny Day, you die. Great Tusk comes in, is in a perfect position to just kill everything. Um, so yeah, immune to Fake Out too, which I think is really good for these kind of teams. And then yeah, Just again a really good coverage bot, and then my next, and it goes very very well with my next pick, which was tier 2 Bisharp. I took this one in a free slot, so it was 75 points. Um, I took this less for the Defiant, and more for just like how it complemented the team offensively and defensively. It can run Eviolite now, which is actually, I don't think it's the best. I think people are overestimating the Eviolite sets, because I've run the calcs. It still doesn't really live stab close combats. I mean, you can live like a stab heat wave, and that's like kind of all that you gain. But sometimes, it's nice to have the option. Um, it doesn't get a ton of coverage, but it gets what it needs: Iron Head, Sucker Punch, Assurance, Throat Chop, um, speed control options like Low Sweep and Rock Tomb, plus setup like Swords Dance, Taunt, Quick Guard are both very useful. It does deter Intimidate, but I think Inner Focus is even better in this kind of format and on this team where I already have a competitive user. Um, it just has like tons of offensive synergy. I can lead it next to Haunter and do the classic Sludge Wave plus Assurance combo, or Icy Wind plus Assurance, and like punch holes in things really easily. But overall, like, it's just really strong. It benefits from Tailwind, and I have like 5 Icy Wind mons or something on my team, so it benefits from that really well too. Plus, Icy Wind is like is one of the natural kind of deterrents to, or answers to, like a hyper offensive team, and so this can switch in on those and then start firing off like Defiant boosted Sucker Punches or something. All right, sorry I had to run, but I'm back. Um, Yeah, so yeah, I think Bishop is a very good piece on my team. And yeah, moving on, I took Sawsbuck. So I was really looking for a good grass type. I was planning on Serena and then Appleton, but those both got taken. So I dipped a little lower for Sawsbuck. It gives me another normal type, but I'm really not too worried about it. It has 3 very usable abilities: Chlorophyll, Sap Sipper, Serene Grace, all pretty good. Just a good low tier grass. Like, I really don't have a whole lot to say on this mon. Its stats are fine. Like 80, 70, 70 bulk is not great, but manageable. 95 speed, 100 attack. Like, it's fine. Has some setup with Swords Dance, some stuff like Fake Tears. Worry Seed, I think, is really cool. And then its Serene Grace move pool is pretty cool. It gets like Body Slam, Play Rough. You can 40% flinch with Zen Headbutt. Um, yeah, just overall like a pretty strong, like a relatively strong, good value tier 4. That's really all I have to say on that. Then we have Glamora. So this was a really interesting pick. I kind of changed my plan last second to grab this. Um, it's either going to be really insane or kind of bad. It's kind of hard for me to say right now. I mean, it's kind of a mon that if it doesn't perform, I might be willing to drop. But just on paper, I think that like the rock poison typing is really good offensively, and then I just think on paper the toxic debris ability, which sets toxic spikes every time Glamora is hit, um, is just really good for it's just really good for like a hyper offensive kind of team or playstyle, because it makes it so that things take damage, and so like they switch in and suddenly their sashes are gone, or it just chip damage, and just puts, it's just free chip, and it just puts them in the range of a KO maybe. Um, so I think that's really valuable, and then it just hits really hard, like 130 special attack, 86 speed makes it a good Tailwind abuser, and then just Power Gem, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave too. And then Earth Power, Energy Ball, Flash Cannon, Dazzling Gleam is its coverage. It gets Screens, Rock Polish, Spiky Shield, Sunny Day, Acid Armor. So like the move pool is not super deep, but I this is kind of a very experimental pick, and I'm hoping that it pans out, because I think it could be insane here. Um, and then last pick is Glalie. I actually picked Shroodle and then dropped it because I just felt like Shroodle just had a lot of support piece moves that I already had. Um, Again, I don't have a ton to say about this one. It's kind of, as I say here, it's kind of a whatever pick. Gives me a stab ice move, which is valuable in a format with Garchomp and Salamence and Hydreigon and dragons and all that. It's nice to have that. Um, it's another like Icy Wind user. It's immune to Fake Out, but it's another taunt user. I have like 6 of those, I guess. Um, but yeah, I mean, Freeze Dry is really good to have. Freeze Dry hits a lot of things really hard. Sheer Cold is an option. Uh, Kind of the standard set most people have seen from Glalie is like a um, either like a weakness policy or anger point proc with Ice Shard or Frost Breath, and then like Scarf Icy Wind. Um, Obviously, I don't have an anger point mon, and the weakness policy procs are a little worse now that Dynamax isn't a thing. But the Scarf Icy Wind set's still fine. Maybe I'll bring Moody to be funny. But yeah, I just felt like it was good enough value, and it might come a couple times. So then overall, here's my whole team. I think that the strengths of this team come from the damage output and the lead pressure. There are tons of really insane offensive pairings on this team. There's Persian Cinderace. There's Haunter Bisharp. There's Great Tusk Kilowattrel. There's Great Tusk Gardevoir and Great Tusk Haunter. And Bisharp Cinderace with Defiant maybe, or Kilowattrel Cinderace. Like a lot of the like Cinderace, Kilowattrel, Gardevoir, Persian, Haunter, Great Tusk, Bisharp are all like super good like offensive lead pressure type of mons, and they all mesh really well. And you can kind of just combine any 2 of those, what 7 mons together, and then you throw in a Vaporeon in the back, or a Glamora too could be on lead. Um, but yeah, I mean, just the amount of leads that this team can have, plus the lots of fake out immunity between Haunter, Bisharp, and Glalie, plus the addition of Covert Cloak, so I could realistically just bring 4 mons that can't be faked out if I want to. So that means I can keep momentum through the lead on lead through fake out. The number one thing that like Trick Room teams or slower teams try to do on lead with fake out is they're faking you out so you can't double into their Trick Room setter and kill it. But this team kind of just can, and so like if I lead Bisharp Haunter, like I don't know who's getting Trick Room up, like an Indeedee team, but like other than that, who? Or Cinderace or Great Tusk Kilowattrel, like what lives an EQ a Disquake combo from those two? I don't know. I mean, I haven't run these calcs, but I assume that not many things do, and so I have lots of spread damage and the fake out immunities and multiple taunt users and multiple ways to hit the common typings for Trick Room setters. So that kind of leads into my next points of the weaknesses. The lack of low speed mons very obviously means that a lot of people are going to lead bring TR against me. I do have Imprison, but I think that the teams with TR modes, and there definitely are some, are definitely going to try to jam it into me. And I admittedly, again, like I'm not going to try to tell you I have the best TR matchup here because I definitely don't. But I think it's very manageable. Like I think if Trick Room goes up, I have stuff like Vaporeon, good pivots like Cinderace and Persian that can kind of help me stall it out. I have 2 Mons in Gardevoir and Haunter that can reverse Trick Room, as well as, just in general, like I feel like I have some staying power. I have enough staying power and enough damage output to stop Trick Room from going up at all. I think that's where my team is going to excel in the Trick Room matchup, is just killing things before they can get Trick Room up at all. And so yeah, I mean the other weaknesses, general lack of bulks. General lack of bulk, I'd say, is a very valid criticism. Vaporeon's my bulkiest, and then it kind of falls off hard from there. Like Glamora, I mean, Great Tusk is really bulky, but Glamora is meh on the bulk. Same with Sawsbuck. Persian is frail. Kilowattrel and Cinderace are pretty frail. Bisharp with Eviolite, it might actually come more because of that. And then the support options I think are a little overlapping. Like, I think it's good to a certain extent, right? Like I have 2 Haze users. Wait, does Glalie get Haze? No. So like I have two Haze users, or three, two. Yeah, Vaporeon and Haunter. Two Haze users. I have like Icy Wind on Gardevoir, Persian, Vaporeon, Haunter, and Glalie. So like there's definitely overlap there, but I don't think it's bad overlap to have, because none of the mons serve the exact same function, because all of their support move pools are different enough. It's just that some of them share things that I almost think is helpful, because that means like I'm not forced to stick Haze on Vaporeon all the time. I'm not forced to always have Taunt on Bisharp. I'm not. That's actually a huge one, because I have Cinderace, Persian, Haunter, Great Tusk, Bisharp, and Glalie all get Taunt. So I'm not forced to put Taunt on Bisharp. I'm not forced to put Trick Room on Haunter. I'm not, so it's nice to have that flexibility, I think. So it might even be a strength. But I think there is a little bit of overlap there. And then only having one fake out user, I kind of wish I got two, and I might trade for another if it feels like I don't have enough. Um, but yeah, I mean, overall thoughts here, like I'm super stoked to use this team. I think it's the top three team in my division. I think that it's me, Dan, and Gambit got probably, in my opinion, the three best teams. Um, I just like the offensive output and hyper offensive playstyle will fit me well. Like I'm best at using these kind of teams as opposed to like bulkier teams. Um, Not as many new mons as I wanted. Like Kilowattrel, Great Tusk, and Glimmora are my three like Gen 9 mons. And then Sawsbuck is a returning one. Um, but I've never used Persian or Vaporeon before, or Glalie. So those are new to me. I have drafted Cinderace and Gardevoir and Haunter and Bisharp before, but just those four and everything else is new to me. So it's still some good variety for me, and I'm really interested in testing out Great Tusk, Kilowattrel, and Glimmora. Like I think they're gonna be insane, but I'm also like I could be wrong. So I'm interested to see how that shapes up. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Um, I'm super stoked to be able to play in this season. Obviously, I'm running this season, so I'm also excited to be able to run it. And yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. And I'll see you next week for week 1 of the Great Lakes Draft League Season 3 in the Basket Legion Division. This is Wakeman, and I will see you next time.